My dear ones, let me tell you something my grandmother once whispered while rocking gently on the creaky porch swing of a southern afternoon. Child, not everything that rattles deserves your tongue. And I have carried that wisdom in the marrow of my bones ever since. You see, we live in a world that rewards noise, people shouting over each other, flashing their joys and flaunting their wounds, posting every breath, every thought, every ache, as if silence were a curse and privacy a prison. But let me speak this truth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength folded in dignity. There is a rhythm to silence that only the wise can hear. It hums deep in the belly of the earth and rests gently on the shoulders of the patient. It is not empty. Oh no, my dear, it is full of understanding, full of listening, full of truth waiting to be born. You see, in this world, folks will tell you to speak up before you're ready. They will prod you to shout your pain, parade your process, and perform your piece. But let me whisper to you what the elders knew without ever having to say it out loud, that sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is be still. To hold your words like pearls, too precious to cast before swine. To keep your mouth closed, not because you have nothing to say, but because you know that every word has a price, and wisdom teaches you how to spend wisely. Child, don't you mistake silence for surrender. Don't let the world convince you that quietness is cowardice. Oh no, sugar. Silence is strength wrapped in velvet. It is restraint refined by fire. It is the shield that guards your peace and the gatekeeper of your energy. You don't always need to clap back. You don't always need to correct. You don't have to post a response or explain your truth to people committed to misunderstanding you. What's yours will speak for itself in time. I've learned that silence is often misunderstood by the noisy. They don't trust what they can't interrupt. They don't respect what doesn't demand attention. But you, my darling, you were never made to beg for understanding. You were born with thunder in your chest and stars in your soul. You don't need to prove your storm by breaking someone else's peace. Let me tell you, it takes power to hold your tongue when your pride wants to speak. It takes discipline to bow out of the argument that your ego wants to win. But the mature woman, the wise man, the soul that's been through something and come out the other side, they understand that every battle is not worth their breath. They've learned to save their voice for praise, not pettiness. I've walked through fire, and I've come out smoke-scented but still shining. And along the way, I've come to realize that silence is a language. It says, I see what's happening, but I choose peace. It says, I could say more, but my spirit needs rest. It says, God will handle what my words cannot. There's power in the pause. There's healing in the hush. There's clarity in the quiet. You don't have to answer every accusation. You don't have to match energy with those who are running on fumes. Let them talk. Let them throw their stones. Let them wrestle with shadows. You, beloved, were not built for petty wars. You were built for purpose. Silence gives you room to listen, not just to others, but to your own soul. When you quiet the noise of the outside world, you start to hear the music of your inner knowing. You hear your breath. You hear your heartbeat. You hear God whispering, be still and know that I am. And when you come into that stillness, you become unshakable, not because you're untouched by pain, but because you've learned to sit with it in sacred silence. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've made peace with the questions. The woman who holds her tongue is not weak. She is powerful beyond measure, because she knows when to speak and when to let silence carry her truth. She knows that her worth isn't measured by her volume, but by her presence. She knows that her silence can move mountains, shake hearts, and part seas. So do not be afraid to step back. Do not be afraid to keep your peace when others lose theirs. You don't need to rush to defend yourself. Your growth is your defense. Your peace is your power. Your silence is your sanctuary. Let your actions whisper where your words used to shout. Let your presence speak when your tongue takes rest. Let your silence remind the world that you are whole without their validation. And when the time comes to speak, because, oh yes, the time will come, you will find that your words carry more weight because they were born not out of impulse, but out of insight. They were shaped not by noise, but by wisdom. So walk tall in your silence. Hold your head high when others clamor for attention. There is a divine hush that surrounds those who are grounded, and if you listen close enough, you'll hear it humming around you even now. It's saying, you are enough. You are wise, you are strong, and you don't have to shout to prove it. Let the noisy ones chatter, let the restless ones run in circles. You, my dear, will rise in silence, and the world will watch in awe. There comes a moment, if you live long enough, when you wake up and realize that all the applause in the world cannot fill the quiet spaces inside of you. Oh yes, sugar, they may cheer for you, they may call your name in the streets, they may like your picture, mimic your style, even quote your words. But none of that, not a drop of it, can replace the peace that comes from knowing who you are without all that noise. And that, my dear, is the beginning of real growth. You see, we've been taught to seek approval as if it were bread for the soul, hungry for acceptance, thirsty for praise. Many have run themselves ragged trying to earn love from people who don't even love themselves. But I want to sit with you a moment, right here in the stillness, and say this. You are not what they call you. You are not the job you have, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, or the number of followers you keep count of like stars in the sky. You are the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. You are the forgiveness you offer when your heart is still sore. You are the boundaries you build, the peace you protect, and the wounds you choose to heal instead of hide. That, beloved, is who you truly are. And that kind of self-acknowledgement, that soul-deep certainty, it doesn't grow in the spotlight. It grows in the shadows. It grows in the hours when the phone doesn't ring. It grows when you walk away from the crowd to sit with your own thoughts and dare to ask yourself, what do I want and who am I when no one is clapping? There is a glory in growing inward. Not shrinking, no, not hiding from life, but growing, blooming inward like a rose curling toward the sunlight of its own truth. And in that sacred soil of self, you begin to see that everything you were looking for out there has been waiting for you within all along. But growth, child, real growth is quiet. It is not flashy. It does not need an audience. It is the work of watering your spirit day by day. It's turning off the distraction. It's saying, no, I don't need to be seen today. I need to be still. It's journaling your pain. It's praying in the early hours when no one but God hears you. It's resting when your body pleads for a pause, even if the world says, hustle. External validation is a sweet thing, but it is fleeting. And if you make a home in other people's applause, you'll spend your life building rooms for their expectations and never your own freedom. Oh, I know how tempting it is to perform, to pretend, to project a version of yourself that gets the praise. But I tell you, that applause fades. And when the crowd moves on, you'll be left with the echo. And echo don't feed the soul, baby. But when you grow inward, when you take the time to nourish your mind, tend to your heart, and walk with your spirit, you begin to shine from the inside out. You walk different, you talk different, you love different, because you no longer seek from others what you have already found in yourself. There is freedom in not needing to be liked. There is power in not chasing affirmation. There is beauty in knowing your worth with such conviction that no one else's opinion can unmake it. And don't you worry. Those who truly see you, those who are sent by heaven and not by hype, they will find you. You won't have to perform for them. You won't have to explain or decorate your truth. They will recognize the light in you because it reminds them of their own. And that kind of connection is worth more than 1,000 compliments from strangers. Growth says, I don't need to post my peace for it to be real. I don't need to announce my healing for it to be holy. I don't need a crowd to celebrate my progress. I celebrate it myself. That is when you know you are becoming. Becoming a woman, a man, a being rooted in truth and grace. The tree does not clap for itself when it grows. The moon does not shout when it rises. The caterpillar does not ask for approval before turning into a butterfly. And neither must you. Focus on becoming. Focus on being so grounded in your own journey that detours don't derail you. Focus on falling in love with who you are. Again and again, each time you peel back another layer and find deeper wisdom waiting. There's a divine magic in growth that no camera can capture, no audience can applaud, no stage can contain, and that magic lives in you. So walk away from anything that asks you to perform your value. Walk away from anyone who loves your reflection, but not your reality. Choose yourself. Not because you're selfish, but because you're sacred. And when you do, when you finally step into that silent sanctuary of self-awareness, you'll find what the world can never give you: peace that doesn't shake, love that doesn't require proving, joy that doesn't need permission. This, my dear, is how you rise. This is how you fly without flapping your wings. This is how you become whole, not because they said so, but because you know so. Let them look. Let them wonder. Let them talk. But as for you, keep growing. In quiet, in strength, in truth. And remember, you are already enough. You always were. You always will be. There is a sacred path with your name carved into it. A path only your feet were made to walk. Now, others may try to follow. Some may try to lead you off of it. And a few may stand on the sidelines throwing stones at your progress. But hear me clearly when I say this, child. You don't owe anyone your journey. Let that rest on your spirit. You do not have to explain your path to people who've never dared to take a step in their own shoes. You don't have to justify your detours, your delays, or your decisions. Your growth is not a group project. And your healing, your holy, hard-earned healing, is not a public performance. There's a kind of peace that comes when you release the pressure to be understood by those who've never known your struggle. They didn't see the nights you cried yourself to sleep. They didn't feel the hunger in your soul when your spirit was starving for purpose. They didn't witness the battles you fought with your own mind, your own memories, your own shadows. So how could they possibly comprehend the route you had to take? Let them ask. Let them wonder. Let them create stories to fill in the blanks. But don't let their questions become your burden. Don't trade your progress for their comfort. You do not owe anyone the softness of your voice just to make your boldness easier for them to swallow. You do not owe them your past wrapped in a bow of apology. You do not have to shrink yourself into a size that fits their imagination. The journey you're on, it's sacred, it's messy, it's holy, and it's yours. You've earned your silence. You've earned your privacy. You've earned the right to say, this is mine, and I will not be explaining it to you. Because growth is often misunderstood, especially when you're growing in directions they didn't expect, especially when you're outgrowing the boxes they built for you. People get uncomfortable when you stop being who they remember and start becoming who you were meant to be. But my dear, growth is not betrayal. Healing is not arrogance. Choosing peace over people-pleasing is not selfish. It's sacred. Don't let them guilt you into sharing what is still being shaped. Don't open the oven door too soon just because someone is hungry for your results. Let your process finish. Let your soul rise fully before you serve yourself to the world. And if they say you've changed, tell them, I hope so. Because staying the same is not a virtue when the same was slowly killing your spirit. Some folks will miss the version of you that needed them. The version of you that apologized for breathing too loud. The version of you that dimmed your light so theirs could shine. But you don't owe them that version. You owe yourself the truth. You owe your future the freedom of your fullness. And listen here. You don't have to relive the pain to prove you've healed from it. You don't have to revisit every wound for someone else's closure. Closure is their journey, not your responsibility. Your life is not a confession booth. You don't have to explain what God is doing in you, for you, or through you. Sometimes all you have is a whisper from the heavens and a yes in your heart. And that's enough. You see, when a seed grows into a tree, it doesn't ask permission. It stretches, it roots itself deep, and reaches toward the sun. It sheds what no longer serves it. And it does all of this without apology. So why not you? Why not walk in your newness boldly? Why not carry your transformation like a crown instead of a chain? The people meant for you will understand your silence. They'll honor your evolution. They'll clap for you in the quiet. And they won't ask for explanations because real love doesn't come with interrogation. Now, I know it can be lonely when you stop oversharing, when you stop overgiving, when you stop opening your heart to hands that only come to take. But that loneliness, that holy solitude, is a birthing room. In that room you find your voice, you find your strength, you find your God. And you learn to trust that if it was meant to be known, it would be revealed. If it was meant to be understood, it would speak for itself. If it was meant to be shared, it would flow from you naturally, not pulled from you forcefully. Don't rush to explain what's still unfolding. Don't trade your peace for their approval. Don't let someone's confusion become your crisis. You are not their project. You are not their savior. You are not their open book. You are a sacred poem, still being written. You are a masterpiece in motion. And you don't have to be read aloud to be real. So guard your journey, love. Protect it like the precious gift it is. Wrap it in grace. Cover it in prayer. And know that the steps you take, no matter how slow, no matter how unseen, are leading you exactly where you were destined to go. And when they ask, where have you been? Smile gently. Place your hand over your heart and say, I've been growing. I've been healing. I've been becoming. And that is enough. There is something beautiful, something regal about a soul that knows its worth and does not have to announce it. No trumpet, no parade, no bright lights needed, just presence. Just quiet, unwavering truth. That, my dear, is what we call quiet confidence. It is not boastful, not brash. It is not built on needing to be seen. It does not tremble in the silence, nor shrink when no one applauds. It stands tall and firm, like an oak tree that has weathered too many storms to be rattled by a passing breeze. You see, the loudest voice in the room is not always the wisest. Sometimes true power whispers. Sometimes it walks softly, dressed in humility. And when it speaks, it does not shout. It echoes. Quiet confidence is born not from ego, but from experience, from surviving what was sent to destroy you, from loving yourself through the losses, from walking through fire and coming out not untouched but unburned in spirit. That kind of strength, it doesn't need validation. It's already been tested in the dark when no one was watching. And it came through refined, shining not because it wanted to be admired, but because it refused to go dim. Confidence that makes noise is often looking to be confirmed, but quiet confidence, the kind that sits in your chest like a holy truth, that comes from knowing you are enough even when no one claps, even when no one calls your name, even when the room forgets to notice you. There's a kind of power in a woman, in a man, in a soul who walks in a room and doesn't demand attention. Because attention finds them anyway, not because of flash, not because of charm, but because of stillness, because of peace. When you know who you are, when you've done the inner work, you no longer have to prove your worth to anyone. You no longer have to dress it up in performance. You no longer have to explain your silence or decorate your solitude. You simply are. And isn't that something, to be so rooted in your truth that other people's noise can't shake your foundation? To smile, not because you're being watched, but because your spirit is light. To walk away, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. To speak only when your words carry purpose and not just volume. Quiet confidence is dignity wrapped in grace. It's walking through chaos with calm. It's knowing you could fight, but choosing instead to rise. It's not that you don't feel fear. It's that fear doesn't drive your steps anymore. When you know your value, you stop auctioning your soul for discounts. You stop entertaining people who confuse your kindness with weakness. You stop staying in places that don't honor the woman or man you've become. And let me tell you something, child. You don't have to raise your voice to raise your standard. You don't have to broadcast your boundaries. You don't have to post your peace online for it to be real. There is holiness in holding your head high without lifting your voice. There is wisdom in being slow to speak and quick to listen. There is divine strength in choosing silence over shouting when your spirit tells you it's time to be still. Quiet confidence is when you walk past gossip and don't flinch. When they underestimate you and you smile, because you know the depth of your power doesn't require proof. It's when people leave and you don't beg them to stay. It's when opportunities pass and you trust the next one will be better suited for the soul you're becoming. You see, the world is loud, full of voices screaming to be heard. People posting, preaching, performing, but very few are present. Very few are rooted. And when your confidence is carved from something deeper than applause, you become unshakable. You become the eye of the storm, still, peaceful, centered. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them question your quiet. You do not owe noise to anyone. Let your life speak. Let your peace preach. Let your walk whisper truths that no shout could carry. There's no need to announce every move when God is directing your steps. There's no need to explain every silence when your spirit is resting in assurance. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say nothing. Sometimes the most powerful response is to keep walking. Sometimes silence is the language of confidence. And do not mistake it for passivity. Oh no, this kind of quiet carries weight. It is presence. It is poise. It is knowing the battle is already won, and there's no need to fight for what's already yours. When you're confident in your calling, you don't need to compete. When you're confident in your worth, you don't need to convince. When you're confident in your growth, you don't need to announce your arrival. You just keep becoming. So walk with that quiet confidence, love. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you know you're no less. You've survived too much to shrink now. You've risen too far to come down for small things. You've learned too deeply to be rattled by shallow voices. Stand tall, not loud but sure, not boastful but bold in truth. not demanding but deserving. Let them wonder how you stay so calm in the storm. Let them question how you hold your peace when provoked. Let them marvel at how your spirit shines without shouting. That, my dear, is the power of quiet confidence. A crown you wear not on your head, but in your heart, and you wear it well. There is a sacred calm that visits the soul when you finally stop running. Running from yourself, running from your fears, running from the silence that scares you more than any noise ever could. But child, let me tell you, there is peace waiting for you in that stillness. A kind of peace that no loud room, no hurried heart, no quick fix can ever give you. We spend so much time chasing what we think we need. Chasing love, chasing success, chasing approval, as if the things meant for us might slip through our fingers if we dare to rest. But what if I told you that peace is not found in the chase at all? What if I told you that peace has been waiting for you in the quiet corners of your life you've been too afraid to enter? Sit with that for a moment. The world will have you believing that progress looks like constant movement, always doing, always proving, always reaching for the next thing. But even the good Lord rested after creation. Even the mighty river needs still banks to carry its power. Even the sun sets each night, trusting that it will rise again without question. So why, my dear, do you refuse yourself the stillness you so desperately need? Why do you fill every silence with sound, every pause with panic, every quiet moment with noise? Perhaps it is because stillness holds up a mirror, and mirrors show us what we've been avoiding. Our wounds, our worries, our weary hearts aching for peace. But there, in that stillness, is where the healing begins. That's where divine timing can reach you, because you're finally still enough to listen. You see, the things meant for you will not require you to sprint toward them. They will not pass you by because you've taken time to breathe. Rushing the process will also lies at your eternal truth. What is truly yours is tied to your soul, and it will find you in the right season, at the right time, no sooner, no later. Rushing the process will only exhaust your spirit and starve your peace. Oh, I know what it's like to feel as though everyone is blooming while you're standing still, to see others blooming while you feel buried beneath the soil. But do you know what lies beneath the soil? Roots, strong, steady, unseen roots that anchor you, so that when you do rise, you rise fully and without fear of the wind. Don't despise your season of stillness. Don't confuse waiting with wasting. Some of the most powerful transformations happen away from the eyes of the world. A caterpillar does its becoming inside a cocoon, hidden, still, silent. And yet when it emerges, it flies. Divine timing works much the same. It does not move with haste, it moves with purpose. It does not shout its plans, it whispers promises into your heart, if only you would be still enough to hear them. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with your process. The things you are praying for, the dreams you are cradling in your heart, they are growing, even if you cannot see them yet. And your peace? Your peace will come when you realize you don't have to control what was never yours to control. You don't have to force what is already written in the stars for you. There is freedom in surrendering to divine timing. Freedom in trusting that what is meant for you will not miss you, no matter how long it takes. Freedom in releasing the grasp you have on what should be and opening your hands to what will be. But while you wait, oh, don't just wait. Grow in that stillness. Water your soul with truth. Speak kindly to yourself. Let go of timelines that make you feel less than, and rest in the knowledge that your pace is your own. There's a reason why flowers do not all bloom at once. Imagine the beauty we would miss if they did. And just like those flowers, you too will bloom in your time, in your season, in your own unique way. But you must honor the stillness that nurtures your growth. So be still, not because you are stagnant, but because you are preparing. Be still because in your stillness you find clarity. You hear God's whisper over the world's noise. You see your worth beyond your work. You rediscover the beauty of simply being. And when that peace comes, and it will flow through you like a river, too full to be stopped, washing away every ounce of doubt that told you you had to hustle for what was always meant to find you. You'll see that the delays weren't denials. The pauses weren't punishments. The silence wasn't empty. It was sacred. A space for healing, for listening, for becoming. So the next time you feel the need to rush, to push, to prove, remember the beauty of stillness. Remember that good things grow in quiet places. And trust with every fiber of your being that divine timing is working on your behalf. Even when the world appears still, rest in that truth. Rest in that peace. Rest in knowing that you are right where you need to be, becoming, blooming, and bound for everything meant for you.